Can you help me understand the different concepts, like the world is real, the world is unreal? Reality is the world?
Ask yourself, to whom is the world real? To whom is the world unreal? And finally, to whom reality is the world? Let's consider an example to illustrate these concepts. Imagine you are watching a movie in a theater. The movie depicts a year-long journey across Europe spanning 5,000 miles. When the movie ends, you realize you have been sitting in the theater for only 2 hours. So, how long did the journey actually take, and how much space did it occupy? From the perspective of the characters in the movie, the journey took a year and covered 5,000 miles. However, from your perspective as the viewer, the journey didn't take up any real space or time. The movie screen itself did not expand to accommodate the vast landscapes or stretch to reflect the passing of a year. This absence of actual space and time is similar to what we refer to as eternity or infinite mind or infinite awareness. When the infinite awareness is perceived through the finite mind of a character in the movie, this eternal, infinite nature appears as time and space. In this context, it took a year. To experience the movie, you had to sit down in the theater and immerse yourself in the story. For the movie characters, the journey and the events were real. But when the movie ends, the characters and the story disappear immediately. As the viewer, you realize that the movie was not real. What was real for the characters in the movie was not real for you, the viewer. The mind of the movie characters refracts the eternal, infinite nature of consciousness, making it appear as time and space. Thus, from the perspective of the characters in the movie, events happen sequentially over a year, with cause and effect being real. The laws of cause and effect operate within the movie, but from the perspective of the viewer, those laws do not exist as they do for the movie characters. In this analogy, the viewer represents consciousness, and the movie characters represent each of us.
Can you say they coexist?
Not really, because there aren't two separate entities. One is merely a limited version of the other. Time and space are limited versions of eternity. It's not that there are two things coexisting, but rather one thing appearing in different forms. Just as the actor in the movie, Joe B., and the character he portrayed as Jahangir don't coexist because there's only one actor, eternal infinite awareness manifests as time and space when viewed through the finite mind. The laws governing time and space are included in ultimate reality and are real, just not in the way we usually think and believe with our finite minds. For the movie character Jahangir, it took 1 year, and this was his reality. Everything is real, even if it's a movie. When you look at the scene in the movie, there's no real war, but there's a reality to the apparent war, as a play of light on the screen. Similarly, the landscapes and events in the movie are an illusion, but something real, the screen, creates them. This confusion arises because traditional teachings often conflate the world being an illusion with non-existence. There is a difference between something that is an illusion and something that doesn't exist. An illusion is something that exists but is not what it appears to be. The scene in the movie isn't real in the conventional sense, but the screen creating it is real. The reality of the illusory scenes is the screen itself. Everything has a reality, even if it doesn't appear as it seems.
Can you clarify the difference between an illusion and something that doesn't exist?
Of course. Imagine a unicorn. A unicorn is a mythical creature often depicted as a horse with a single horn on its forehead. While we can imagine a unicorn, draw pictures of it, and even make up stories about it, it doesn't exist in reality. A unicorn is an illusion because it is something we can conceive of, but it does not exist in the real world. Now consider a square triangle. Can anyone imagine a square triangle? A square triangle is an example of something that doesn't exist. It is not an illusion, it is utterly non-existent because the very concept is self-contradictory. We cannot even visualize it or conceptualize it. An illusion, like a unicorn, exists as an idea, an image, or a story. It has a reality in our minds, though not in the physical world. We can think about it and talk about it, but it doesn't exist as a tangible object.
So, an illusion is something that can be imagined but isn't real?
Exactly. An illusion is something that exists in our perception but is not what it appears to be. A unicorn exists in our imagination and stories but not in the physical world. The world, however, is not non-existent. It is real. This experience is undeniably real, and all experiences, whether dreams, visions, hallucinations, or near-death experiences, are real. However, not all experiences are what they appear to be. The experience of the world is real, but the question is, what is real about the world? If we investigate its reality, we don't find matter. We find consciousness, just one infinite consciousness. This doesn't make matter go away because matter was never there in the first place. The appearance of matter as the world to bodily eyes is the illusion. Seeing the screen, which is the reality of the landscape, doesn't make the landscape go away because there was no landscape to begin with. All there was to the landscape was the screen. We can still see the appearance of the landscape, but know that it is a screen. In other words, it is ignorance that disappears, not matter or Maya. In this context, matter or Maya is the illusion. So it's not Maya that disappears, it's ignorance that disappears. When ignorance disappears, we see the reality behind the illusion. The landscape on the screen is seen for what it truly is, a play of light on the screen. The screen itself is real, while the landscape is an illusion. The world we experience is real, but our perception of it as separate, independent matter is the illusion. When we see through this illusion, we recognize the underlying reality of consciousness.
Oh, wow. Is that how it is?
Yes, you see the movie now, and you are aware of the screen displaying the colors. You are alert, and you are no longer fooled by the twists and turns in the movie. When people watch a movie, they only see the contents of the movie and freak out.
It sure appears that way.
When Jesus, Buddha, Rumi, and Ramana Maharshi watched the movie, they still saw the contents, but their attention was only on the screen. They watched the same movie but saw its reality. They didn't allow the content of the movie to obscure its reality. They did not have extraordinary experiences. Their experiences were the same as ours. They didn't let the objective qualities of experience veil or obscure the reality of the experience. They saw through the illusion to the reality. They didn't allow the appearance of things to veil their reality. They were in the state of knowing that reality is the world. They knew all is infinite mind and its infinite manifestation.
It's just mind-boggling. When I understand it, it feels true. When I read quotes like "there is no creation, no dissolution, no seeker," I feel a deep sense of relief. Viewing from awareness intuitively feels so right.
That perspective is written from the point of view of awareness, where awareness is aware of itself. Think of awareness as a vast screen upon which all the colors of experience are playing. From the point of view of the screen, nothing other than the screen itself ever comes into existence. The screen is just modulating and coloring itself in all the forms of experience, but no separate object stands out from the screen or has its own independent existence. The people and objects on the screen do not have their own independent existence. Nothing exists in its own. No tree or object on the screen stands out and has its own independent existence. The screen experiences everything as a play of itself. When we hear nothing exists, it doesn't mean there is no experience. It means no thing independently exists. Nothing stands out from awareness with its own existence. The only being is the isness of all things, which is the screen of awareness, the present moment awareness. From this point of view, there is no creation in the sense that there are no created things. There is just the dimensionless screen of awareness modulating itself in all forms of experience. Nothing is created. No thing comes into existence. That's why it says in the Bhagavad Gita, that which is never ceases to be. That which is not never comes into existence. That which is eternal awareness. A CIM's main theme is, nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Knowing this truth frees us from all illusion. However, these statements, when taken out of context or without explanation, can seem very unrealistic to the separated self and lead to misunderstandings. Particularly in the non-dual tradition, there can be a dismissive attitude towards the world, interpreting it as non-existent or merely an illusion. This can lead to a life-denying point of view that neglects life, the body, activity, and relationships.
So, what appears to our bodily eyes as matter is actually consciousness. Thank you for clarifying the concepts of reality and illusion.
You are welcome, my friend. Remember, everything is the infinite mind and its infinite manifestation